Okay, here we go. So this is the problem. We are at a sea level grid point, and the sea level grid point also defines the total water depth. So in this location, we can define a control volume. And this is shown here in this sketch. A control volume which has a face on the left and a face on the right. Okay? And this is all about the conservation of volume, and in a one-dimensional channel it only matters what comes through the eastern face and what comes through the western face. These faces are located at the velocity grid points, which makes sense because this one is exactly moving volume in and out, in or out of the face. Okay, it can be on the left side or on the right side. Okay, so now what upstream means is a special approach which accounts for the direction of the flow. Because, for example, look on the, let's here, look there, this is, have a look where the mouse is. We're on the eastern face. Because if this velocity component is negative, negative means from right to left, you actually want to move volume from the grid cell k plus 1 into your control volume. Whereas if the u is positive, you actually want to move out volume, namely the represented by the hk here, out of your volume. So the property that you choose for your difference actually depends on the direction of the flow, and on both sides, okay, on both sides of this control volume. This is what we call the upstream advection approach. Okay, advection means it's to do with gradients transported by the flow. And now there is a relatively is a simplified solution to this problem. Instead of using if statements, this is how you can just write this approach, whereby the vertical lines here mean it's the magnitude. Magnitude is if a property is negative, you turn it to a positive value. If it's a positive value, it stays positive. And this is, you can avoid if statements by doing these little tricks here. This is what we call the upstream approach, which selects what property you want to advect. It depends on the direction, whether you use k plus 1 or k, or whether you use k minus 1. Okay, so that's a little trick. Okay, but this is important. Well, it's important. It also makes sense, you know, because you can't move anything into your control volume that is already within your control volume. Okay, anyway, so I don't want to further confuse you, but this is the way, the typical first way of how to do it.